Thursday Night Football. Las Vegas Raiders 5-7 going into the Los Angeles Rams 3-9.
Damn it,
Vegas
Rams.
a 6-point favorite here. I know we've joked all season long. These are both teams that we promised each other we'd never pick again, but here we are. They're facing each other. We got no choice. One of them. It's tough. It's tough and ugly. And so when I was looking at this one, I almost wanted to pick the Rams just because how pretty they looked last week against Seattle
with no one at quarterback.
With no one on offense, you can't name the people that are out there playing.
Tutu, they had Tutu was getting it. That was it.
Yeah.
Tutu Atwell.
Yeah.
Let's go, Louisville.
But then I saw, and then looking into that. I mean, we can't. My issue not picking the Ravens or not picking the Rams is that I just can't trust them on offense. I don't care what's out there. I just can't trust them right now. I wish I could, and if I could, I would pick them because the Raiders have a recipe to win, and that's Josh Jacobs gets 100 yards rushing. They've done that 6 times this year, and they're 5-1 with it if he gets 100 yards or more.
Wow.
And the Rams are letting up only 96 yards a game. So I know they're missing Donald, so that's going to hurt that run game stat, but still, if Jacobs doesn't get going, that Raiders team doesn't get going, right? They need that to build off. Devontae Adams doesn't look good unless Jacobs is bringing everybody underneath, right? That helps the whole team. So
for sure.
It could be a rough game here for the Raiders, but I'm picking the Raiders safely because I don't know what I'm going to get on offense from the Rams.
Gotcha. Raiders 29 points per game over the last 3 games, and they're 3-0, so it kind of makes sense. They've found some nice little chemistry, under the radar. I mean, like you said, they're 5-7, but they just knocked off the Chargers last week, who only have 6 wins, I believe, and that puts them 2 games behind the Jets for the last playoff spot. So realistically, although that record is terrible, the Raiders stay hot. They got the opportunity to backdoor the playoffs. I don't think the Rams are going to be able to win this one. It's a 6-point spread at this point.
Taking the points
seems about right. Nah, I wanted if I was lean, I'd lean towards dropping them on this game. I think the Raiders are going to hang 31, but I think the Rams are going to be able to put up some points too. They played good ball against Seattle. They took them down to the wire. It was 27-24 last week, and I didn't give them much of a shot. I know most of us didn't give them much of a shot, but you saw Cam Akers poke his head out, and John Wolford and the cast of undercasts there for the Rams. So I mean, the Raiders defense doesn't scare anybody. So I think they'll put up some points. I think they'll hang around, but man, Carr to Adams has just been lights out. You got the number 1 receiver and you got the number 1 running back in the league right now. That's going to be a little too much for the Rams to overcome. I don't know. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, I said I wasn't gonna do it. I'm literally.
It's okay, Eddie. I did too.
I'm literally on wax saying I'm not gonna do it, but I know. Obviously I didn't check the schedule after I said it, so. But here we are.
Enough.
I'm gonna take the Raiders here just because of what Charlie said.
It's a whole new week.
Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. Good for him. Good to see Josh Jacobs get his wheels and get that motor running again. Yeah, I don't know if he's been hurt for the past few seasons, but he just hasn't looked explosive and hasn't looked good. And he's got that this year, so good for him.
Questionable every week, though. Scares me.
That is that
every week.
That's just a Belichick tactic. That's all it is.
It could be, but it scares the hell out of me because he's my best guy in fantasy.
Well, but yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders here. How about you, Nicky? I don't know. How about you?
No, I mean, I'm going to take your excuse. I didn't look at the rest of the schedule neither. You got to take the Raiders here. They're 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. They're winning games. And like you just said, Devontae Adams, 1,200 on the season, 12 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, number 1 running back in the league. These guys are doing it. I called this shit in the beginning of the season. It sucked to see how bad they were doing in the beginning. But I said, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, we're going to make some noise, and that's what they're doing. Maybe it took some time to see what these guys had to do, come out and do, and to win games. They got the recipe to win, like you guys said. So the Rams are bad. They're not good anywhere right now, even with Aaron Donald in the game. So I don't like
Run
their
defense
chances
is good.
here. I think the 6 points is about right too, Charlie. I agree with you on that. I'm taking the Raiders.
Yeah, it's hard not to pick the Raiders here. But
For sure.
I haven't. My issue with the Raiders though is I don't realistically see them stealing a playoff spot in the wild card,
Yeah,
and so
that's
they're basically just fighting themselves out of a replacement for Derek Carr. Because you're just pushing your pick back further and further, and unless you're willing to trade the house, because they got a bunch of tough games left still. They still got to do Kansas City. They still got 49ers. They still got New England. So
Wow.
those are tough, hard fought games that they still got to pull off, and the
Yeah,
Steelers. So
for sure.
those are hard games that
Yeah.
you got to win pretty much most of those to steal your way back into the a wild card spot. And if the truth be told, what they're saying, where Derek Carr is going to move on because of that contract issue he's got, because if they let him go, it's only 5 million dead cap, but if they sign him, it's like 50 million dead cap. So you're taken away from the team that needs it, kind of thing. So that's my issue with the Raiders right now.
Wow. It's a chess move right now.
They look kind of like the Packers offense did with Devontae Adams over there. You had Devontae Adams, then you had nothing but a good running back in Aaron Jones, but you had no, second and third option. And then not having Darren Waller all season definitely has hurt. Not having Hunter Renfrow most of the season has definitely hurt. So, I mean, the Raiders have been, like a lot of other teams, working shorthanded most of the season. And that defense definitely didn't elevate from last year, which I think we all were, if they were going to do better, that was going to have to happen.
100%.
For sure.
But all right, that's Thursday Night
Raiders
Football.
across the board.